Baseball is a funny game. 300 batting average, a book that is from a former baseball player turned commentator who goes into just details about the game. Each chapter is devoted to a different aspect of baseball, from, the sandlot and what it means to grow up playing baseball to what it means to retire as someone who won a World Series and what that really means. And I think it's a great book. If you love baseball, I think you're going to get a lot out of this. It's an old book, so I don't recognize too many of the names. I know Yogi Berra. And if you're new to baseball, I think this will just bring a little bit of the heritage that might be missing in the new game of, how old this game really is. So I highly recommend to both. Hello, my name is Dawson Hunt. I read books you've never heard of and review them. So this book, like I said, goes into a little bit of the aspects of each game. And as someone who's played baseball and has grown up with the sport, I've had some thoughts of each of these. And so there's, 9 chapters. And I think he makes some great points in here. It's really great to get such a firsthand experience of the game, of being on the field, of a time of baseball that is before the modern era, that it's just such a different time. Like, he talks about in this book that players' salaries were not public. So this must be before the salary cap or whatever. And that is wild. That is so different than today's game, where every player's salary is posted online for us to criticize and critique and, know exactly how much they're making with taxes and, benefits and signing bonuses. So that's different, but it's just such a personal book. The way he talks about coaches and players and umpires. I love the chapter on umps. The player who, if you don't know his name, then they did a good job, and if you do know the ump's name, that's only for a bad reason. And how just it's such a lonely sport for them, and they have to get everything right. It's great. They talk about the wives of baseball players, and I thought that was really cute. And that wives have to be supportive at all times, that no matter how well a player did or didn't do, they have to support them. And what that means for a player's family, if they get traded and they have to go move across the country in a day, how hard that is on wives and kids. And I thought that was just really powerful. I think, for being a comedy book, it says the funniest book I've ever written. There's definitely some chuckle moments. It's not laugh out loud funny. There's no fact checking or anything like this. It's just a bunch of stories about baseball players and, coaches, and a real relic of a book, and one I really enjoyed reading. And I would love to know your thoughts if you ever read this. The best baseball book I've ever read. I've not read that many baseball books, but I think that is true. And I think that books like this are becoming more and more rare due to just how information is so readily available. They talk about the media a little bit in this book. And a funny thing is, the people who were there for the game, they would have to leave early, so they'd sometimes make up stats. That is mind-blowing, that you'd have so few people there recording stats that they'd sometimes make them up to publish the next day. That it's all automated, or it's all on a spreadsheet, or they're gonna get that down. It's just such a different era, such a different time. He talks about in the end of the book how beautiful baseball is, and I agree. It is. It does show its age, and the call to equality in baseball. There's no race, religion, color. It's just so hee ho hum. Yeah, of course there's we're not of course, baseball is an equal opportunity game. Like, whatever. Why would it ever be about a white person's game or a black person's game? It's, I think it shows how anti-racist they were back here. Like, I think people want to paint this era as like a super racist league where, everyone was using language or denouncing people of color, but it's just not true. Like, this guy does not care. He talks about at the end how all they care about is if the shortstop's going to get the double play or not. And I think that's true. And I think that we should really, reevaluate how we see old books like this and the people in them. That, yeah, they might be using language that we wouldn't use now, but I don't think that any of these guys were bad people in that sense. They respect their wives, they love their kids. It's just great people, and great people that I think this guy's dead by now. So that's sad that we lost one. What a pleasure to read his book. And so if you have a chance to read Baseball's a Funny Game, I think it is a perfect Saturday afternoon read. Baseball season isn't here yet, so read a book about baseball. Catch you later.